Captain Peter Cutsie, South Korea. This is my briefing room. We are now ready for the four-start procedure. Let's have a look at it in the FCOM, and then we'll go into the airplane and do it. We'll start the before-start procedure after the papers are on board. And then the flight deck door closed and locked. Verify that the locked tail light. The CDU pre-flight procedure performance status steps before completing this procedure. So we've done those OPP procedures, and we finished loading of the CDU. CDU display, pilot flying, takeoff cage, pilot monitoring, leg page. N1 bugs, check. And verify that the bugs are correct from the first officer's flight plan. IAS bugs, set. See the green V1 up in the top left-hand corner of both VFDs. MCP set. Auto throttle arm, V2, speed, VNAV, initial heading LNAV, and initial altitude. In that order, from left to right. And then the taxi and takeoff briefing. We've already done the taxi and takeoff briefing in the last video. Try, if you can, not to wait to this point, because you'll find yourself rushing, perhaps missing important things. These briefings, the taxi and takeoff briefing, are most important that you take your time doing them and discussing, especially for the very first flight of the day. If you're flying with the same crew member all day long and you're on the first flight of the day, you've done them, then you can actually, according to your SOPs, there's no requirement to do it unless the taxi route is somewhat different. All right, so we did them in the last video, so they were complete. And then at that point, you make sure the exterior doors are verified closed, flight deck windows closed and locked, and then the captain would ask the first officer for start clearance. Then the captain would check with the lead below with respect to getting the aircraft ready to push back. And then that would be, once that pushback clearance, or I should say, once communication with the lead verified that the ground effects are complete, nose gear pin installed, and clear to pressurize hydraulics, that's the first officer's trigger to do basically three things: set up the fuel panel, set up the hydraulic panel, and the anti-collision light on. And the captain's basically going to do three things. We're going to set the horizontal stack trim, check the aileron trim for freedom of movement of 0 units, and the rudder trim, freedom of movement left to right and 0 units. The things are done in little groups of threes. When I say the captain's going to do it, and when I say the first officer's going to do it, both pilots are watching. Both pilots are responsible. Important. Let's go into the airplane and let's do it. Documents on board. Thank you, Shirley. Flight deck door closed. Flight deck lock light out. Captain is a pilot flying. Takeoff page. First officer, legs page. Pilot monitoring. N1 bugs. Check. 86.5, 86.5, and that check comes off of the first officer's flight plan because he copied that from his OPT. And then you're going to check the speed bugs. Up here, V1 set, and speed bug set, and looking over at the captains here also, the green V1. Let's just have a close look at that. We've got time, and this is a training video and briefing. Here they are here, so set. Then the captain goes up to the mode control panel and left to right, as we discussed it already, looking at the FCOM, goes to the mode control panel. We'll just zoom in for a little better view. And auto throttle arm, the V2134 not set, VNAV arm. And by the way, when you're looking at that, the auto throttle arm, you're looking at it down here also. You have to look down. And then we're looking at LNAV armed and VNAV armed. So you don't just look at the button and the switch light, I should say, the switch light and the indication. Things are done in threes. So every time you talk about VNAV arm, you're talking about the button has been selected, the bar light is on, and the enunciation on the FMA is correct. So we've done that. We're just going back, auto throttle arm, V2-134 not set, VNAV arm, initial heading 008 forward set, LNAV arm, and the initial altitude 10,000 set. Now, at this point you do the taxi and takeoff briefing. Because we've already done it, we've mentioned that just a few minutes ago, we're going to carry on now and check all exterior doors are closed. Yes, flight deck windows are closed and locked. The captain's closed and locked. First officer is closed and locked. The captain will ask the first officer to get startup clearance. The first officer will call ground control and get startup clearance. And once he's done that, the captain will call the lead downstairs and talk to him in a manner similar to flight deck to ground. Go ahead, confirm ground checks complete, nose gear pin installed, clear to pressurized hydraulics. He'll come back and say, ground checks complete, nose gear pin installed, clear to pressurized hydraulics. Now, at this particular point, this is the first officer's cue or trigger, I like to say, to do three things. He's going to set up the fuel panel, the hydraulic panel, and then the anti-collision light. So there's no fuel in the center tank. The aft boost pump is already on for the APU. On, low pressure light out. On, low pressure light out. On, low pressure light out. If you notice, we do things from top to bottom, left to right. We're going to go over to the hydraulic panel now and set the hydraulic panel up. And the elect 2 hydraulic pump on and low pressure light out. Elect 1 hydraulic pump on, low pressure light out. And then you're going to work your way down to the brake pressure. And you're going to check the brake pressure. We have to have a better look to zoom in here. My apologies. It's difficult to get around the flight deck using the software. Here we are here. All right, so this is what the first officer is actually checking, that we're at 2,800 PSI minimum, and then down to the systems, and make sure that the A system hydraulics 2,800 minimum, 2,800 minimum. So that's what he's doing, and then he's going to go and set that up for the engine start, and then go across and do his third item, which is the anti-collision light on. So let's just work our way up to that. Then we'll get the anti-collision light on, and it is. And now the captain actually sets a horizontal stab trim. So let's go across to that. And by the way, there's no rush in doing it. The captain would be observing the first officer doing what he's doing, and then the captain would then set the horizontal stabilizer trim, or have a look at it on the CV2, 5.5 units, and 5.5 units set. And the first officer would confirm, set. And then the captain would go down and check the trims for freedom of movement, and we'll just zoom in here a little bit. And these are the aileron trim switches. You move both of them together to the left, and then check his control wheel pointer that it moves to the left at 0, and then to the right at 0, and then leave it at 0. So freedom of movement, 0. Rudder trim the same, left and right, watching the indicator move left and right, and set at 0. So freedom, free, 0, free, 0. So the stab trim was set, the aileron trim was checked for freedom of movement, and the rudder trim was checked for freedom of movement. Three things, group of threes. Now that he's done that, that is the trigger for the captain to call for the before start checklist. This will complete this video. And in the next video, we're going to do the engine start procedure and pushback and engine start. Thanks for watching. Contact information on the screen. We're now close to 100 briefings in my Google Drive package. If you want to subscribe, contact me by email. I'll set up a Zoom meeting and we'll get you all squared away. So passionate, enjoy your flying.